What if Hoyoverse suddenly adjusts its release schedule, and that change ends up making many of the leaks we've been relying on completely irrelevant? It sounds a little concerning, but that's exactly what we're going to discuss today. But before we get into the discussion, running out of Stellar Jade in Honkai starrail? Don't worry, there's a more budget-friendly solution. Now you can top up in-game safely, quickly, and at a lower price through U7 Buy. And it's not just Honkai starrail, other games are available too, all in one place. Still not sure? No problem. You can check U7 Buy's reviews directly on Trustpilot, so it's transparent and trustworthy. For comparison, 80 oniric shards cost around $100 in the official store, but on U7 Buy, it's much cheaper. The process is also instant. Just select your server, enter your UID, and the balance is delivered straight to your account, no hassle. Don't forget to use code BOOM for a 5% discount. Click the link in my description or pinned comment to visit U7 Buy. Alright, today, we're going to discuss two pieces of information that are just as interesting. The first concerns a future Honkai starrail patch. The second is a surprising update regarding HSR's overall roadmap and release schedule. As usual, all of the information discussed in this video comes from sources considered fairly credible. Let's start with the first topic, a future patch of Honkai starrail. This information comes from Mortis via Galaxy Leaks. In one of his recent posts, Mortis shared what he described as a breaking news update that immediately caught the attention of many players. According to Mortis, the version that comes after Honkai starrail version 4.7 will not be a 5.x patch. Now, if we take that statement at face value, one obvious possibility is that another version exists between 4.7 and 5.0, most likely version 4.8. In other words, the entire 4.x cycle may end at version 4.8, just like the 3.x cycle ended at version 3.8. Of course, many of you probably remember that version 3.8 wasn't actually set in Amphireus anymore. Instead, it shifted back to Penacony. And if the 4.x cycle follows a similar pattern, then it naturally raises another interesting question. Could version 4.8 take us back to a previous planet as well? More specifically, could we return to Amphireus? After all, there have already been several rumors suggesting that we'll revisit Amphireus near the end of the 4.x cycle. However, Mortis made another post clarifying his statement in more detail. In that follow-up post, Mortis explained that he never explicitly said the version after 4.7 would be 4.8. He simply stated that the version after 4.7 would not be a 5.x patch. And honestly, that clarification only ended up confusing people even more. Because if the version after 4.7 isn't 4.8 and isn't 5.0 either, then what exactly is it? What was Mortis actually referring to? Amid all that confusion, Yubacha stepped in with an explanation that honestly makes quite a bit of sense. According to a post he made on X, Mortis' statement may actually be hinting at the existence of a special patch, something similar to the lunar patches found in Genshin Impact. And honestly, I think Yubacha's interpretation is pretty reasonable. For those of you who don't follow Genshin Impact closely, you might not be familiar with this concept. Recently, Genshin introduced a special patch structure where the game didn't immediately move from version 5.8 to version 6.0. Instead, it transitioned into special versions labeled Luna 1, Luna 2, and so on. Yubacha believes something similar could happen in Honkai starrail. He even suggested a possible roadmap that looks like this: version 4.7, special patch, and finally version 5.0. In other words, we might still receive what would normally be considered version 4.8, but under a different label and potentially with a different format than a regular patch. And if Yubacha turns out to be correct, then this becomes a very fascinating development. Why would Hoyoverse choose not to call it version 4.8? What makes this patch special enough to deserve a completely different label? One possibility that immediately came to my mind is the idea that this special patch could actually be the finality mission. Perhaps Hoyoverse wants to create a clearer distinction between finality missions and the regular Trailblaze missions we've been getting throughout the story. Honestly, I think that explanation sounds fairly reasonable. After all, we already experienced a finality mission back in version 3.8. The difference is that version 3.8 was still labeled as a normal patch instead of being treated as something special. Maybe this time, Hoyoverse wants to give the finale its own unique identity. And perhaps a similar pattern will repeat at the end of every major story arc going forward. Now let's move on to the second topic, which I believe has an even broader impact on the community: the possibility of schedule adjustments inside Hoyoverse. This information comes from a different source, namely Sakura Haven. And honestly, it's pretty surprising. In one of their recent posts, Sakura Haven stated that there are signs of internal scheduling adjustments happening within Hoyoverse. If true, this means that many previously leaked schedules for future content may no longer be accurate. So how did they come to this conclusion? The answer lies in currency wars. According to Sakura Haven, the currency wars refresh that was originally expected to arrive in version 4.6 has apparently been pushed back to version 4.7. Now, at first glance, that might sound like a relatively minor detail, but in reality, it could have much larger implications. Because if the schedule for currency wars has already changed, then there's a good chance similar adjustments are happening elsewhere as well. And we're not just talking about small content. This could potentially affect character release schedules, special events, character buffs, game modes, and even entirely new features planned for future patches. Sakura Haven explicitly stated that while Currency Wars is currently the only confirmed adjustment they've detected, the impact could extend far beyond that. In fact, their overall conclusion was pretty straightforward: any leak regarding schedules for future patches, even those originating from trusted sources, may no longer be fully accurate because of these internal changes. And naturally, that raises a very important question. Why is Hoyoverse making these adjustments in the first place? Is there a development issue behind the scenes? Did they decide to reprioritize certain content? Or is there some external factor forcing them to revise their original roadmap? Unfortunately, Sakura Haven didn't provide any specific explanation regarding the cause. All they know is that the schedule has changed, and that those changes may significantly affect the reliability of existing leaks. So, what do you think about all of this? Are you excited by the possibility of a special patch after version 4.7? And how concerned are you about the possibility of schedule changes affecting your future pull plans? Feel free to share your thoughts and theories down in the comments section below, because I always look forward to reading the discussions you guys come up with. Alright, with that, we've reached the end of today's discussion. Thank you all so much for your time and attention for watching this video all the way until the end. Don't forget to share this video with your fellow Honkai Star Rail players so they don't miss these latest updates. Your support through likes and subscriptions truly means a lot to the growth of this channel and helps us continue creating informative content in the future. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next discussion.